Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Tuesday, May 19th. And we got Memorial Day coming up if you haven't paid attention. It's going to be Memorial Days on Monday next week. It's going to be a long weekend. This week is a full week, but it's going to be Monday the 25th. It's going to be Memorial. So, just it's going to be a short week next week. This week is a full week though. So far this morning, we are looking at the risk off kind of overnight. After that uh, announcement from regarding the rainy situation, the market popped pretty good yesterday. Then it's been drifting back and forth. It closed kind of in the middle of the range, and then been overnight. It's kind of been drifting to the downside a bit. I would just start off this exactly the same as yesterday, range bound. Um, Favoring the short side, if anything, given that we have these kind of risks, the potential situations building. And if earnings just passed us, the market wants to trade higher, but the this war situation is kind of leaning on it. And then unless that gets resolved, once that is resolved, that's when I think we have to take another leg higher. So we'll see. We're kind of in a limbo right now about that. So, and that's what I think is leaning on the markets. The news we have today is pretty pretty light. We get housing starts and permits at 8:30, and we get pending home sales at 10. Yes, housing data today. So that's it. So we get that's at least a read on how the housing market is doing. But overall, I would say that we are range bound. We're in a holding pattern. We're waiting for that situation to get resolved. And if that once that gets done, uh, we may have a little bit of action. Also, Wednesday, tomorrow, after the close, we have NVIDIA earnings. And that's going to be also crazy. So that could also set the market off. Probably on Thursday, because this happens after the close. And so Thursday morning, we'll see if the market's going to be in a risk off or risk on kind of a mode. It could be one or the other. So those are the two things we have in front of us. But I would start off range bound, looking to buy weakness, sell strength. I would probably favor the short side early on here to see if they will try to take it lower. After this spectacular run, we have a little pause and a little bit of pullback is not by any means anything crazy. So if they start pulling back more than this, though, that's when you start have to worry about it. But right now, you can see we are pretty much in a spot where we are still heading higher. So that is the capital flow. That is capital flow still pointed higher. Exchange member charges in stage 3, sideways, range bound, waiting for another move up or down. So initially looking to sell strength against the 74.10s, 74.30s, 74.40s, up to that 74.55s. 55, 60s up here, that's when you start taking out these upper areas and potentially heading higher again. So I would love watch that area. That's my first indication that we may have a little recovery thing going. Yesterday, they could not get up about that 50, 55. I lowered that edge a little bit. I had a little bit higher yesterday, but it could be something. This mode right here is interesting at the 68. I moved my the level up a little bit though, so it could be a level right there. Interesting. First time to that level, 68. On the way down, looking to buy weakness at 73.85 and the 75, 65s for rotations back up. Let's take out the lower areas here, the 45s, the 35s. That's when you had to start worrying about the short shot in the market. So 73, 45, 35, these lower areas. If that gets tested, they start taking those out. Yeah, we're in problem. We got some trouble going here. But initially looking to buy against the 85s, 75s, the 65s, 45s, and the 35s here for rotations back up again. These two areas, the 35, 45s, are the ones to pay attention to. The trade outside of that, we have a potential move lower happening. And then, but you have these initial two levels. You have the that 70, 60, 65s and the 75s here, these two support areas. That was a probe from the last sell-off, little pullback we had today. And here we are down here testing that level above it. So I would not be surprised if we get the test of 60s. But it's if you start taking that out, Well, I'm going to be a little bit less buying, but a little bit aggressive buying these support areas, but still looking for long setups against the 45s and the 35s. Rotations back up again. So that's kind of the dynamic. The range bound trading, I would favor the short side if anything, at least to get started. But if we get stuff like yesterday, sloppy, volatile action, yes, I'd trade that with a lot of caution because you just never know. It's just easy to get caught in those moves. So you're looking for trade location, you're looking for something which feels fairly safe. At least when you have a good trade location, your losses, if you're wrong, you're not going to have a big loss, and you have a shot at repairing it. If you have shitty trade location, like buying the high, selling the low, even if that's super tempting, and I do it all the time myself, for some reason, I just can't help myself. When the market moves, you just kind of get sucked into it, but as soon as you're in that trade, well, for some reason the market just stalls, and it's just because you're just late to it. By the time you see the action on the chart, most of the stuff is over. Unless you have a big news things driving it, that's when that trade works. Sell the low and just keep going. But then it's not when it's going choppy like this, when it just you have small runs, start and stop kind of stuff going on. So Nasdaq, same story there. Pretty good move to the downside. They're down here testing that 830 level already. I've been down here at the lower end of the range. So we are in the middle of this big range on the Nasdaq, and it's a big range. So if you look at capital flow, it doesn't look as bad. And we are just pulling back, trying to find support. At this level right there at the 8530s, that's the one to pay attention to. That comes out, bets are off. But if they go back and forth here, I mean, they could certainly do that. So trading all the way back up here to the 48500s, all the way down here to the 28500s. That's a 1,000 point range you're trading in. So there's a lot of action. So it's I would still favor the short side on the Nasdaq, same as the ES, but primarily range bound for now. And let's see where they're going to go from here. So looking to sell. Sometimes you get this overnight weakness and the S keeps going. Sometimes it's just overnight weakness and the day session kicks in. You get some strength picking back up again. So I would just think range bound trading right now and favor the short side until we have clarity on the Iranian situation. And that's hopefully going to happen this week. So once the market knows past we have taken there, I think it's going to be fairly straightforward. You know, I don't think it's going to be a huge reaction, but definitely it's going to be a reaction. So I'm looking to sell strength. We have single prints here at the 960s, 29,000s, 29,080s, 130s, up to that 180s for rotations down. Looking to buy against the 830s, 740s, 680s, 620s, 570s, down to the 530s. So here, on this lower edge here, here's you have your the three-letter ledge we talked about. So that ledge comes out. That's when we have to worry about something bigger going on, maybe a correction happening. So that's kind of what we're looking at. But I would look to buy all the way down here, just not as aggressively. Just looking at the first couple of levels, okay. As if they keep going, just not as aggressively. Watching that lower edge to see if they're going to if this is going to turn into something bigger. And on the way up, looking to sell strength all the way up here to that 48500 level. We got a bit to go to get there. And it feels very much that is not in the cards for today, but you never know. When news comes out, they have a deal. I mean, market's going to turn around in a dime and head higher. So that's the thing. You just never know. You don't have the information right now to judge anything. But if they came out and say they have agreed to something and there won't be a second attack and blah blah blah, that works. That would be a pretty good reaction to the downside at that point, or sorry, to the upside at that point. Everything's going to turn on a dime at that. But they're looking to sell strength against the, as I said, 960, 29,000, 29,080s, 130s, 180s, 280s, 320s up to this level, the 360s. And I put the level in there. That's from yesterday. I didn't do that. It's too far away. I didn't even see that level, but I drop in a level there, right there. So we have at the 420s and the 450, and the 500s here. So once you get up to these upper areas, that's when you have to you have a shot at something interesting happening. But yeah, as you can tell, we have a lot of range on the Nasdaq, up or down. So you have to just trade that with a bit of caution. I've been a little bit less aggressive on the Nasdaq because I mean, I took a trade yesterday, realized like, yeah, my stop is just too small. So if you see that, it's like, okay, no problem. You had to have a really, really good trade location for that to work well, or you have to be prepared to take a bigger, a little bit bigger risk, a bigger stop. You know. So that's we have it. So that's kind of the dynamic right now. But it feels very much like risk off. I checked some stocks this morning. Looks pretty much on the most of it is in the red. It looks like. So profit taking is going on there. So some stocks are doing okay, but a lot of stocks are in the red. So that's the way we have it. So range bound trading on the ES and Nasdaq. Favor the short side. Look to we have the Nvidia earnings on Wednesday. We have this Iranian situation. We will see how that pans out the next few days here. But you saw the reaction from yesterday when the market got some good news about it. That was like, yeah, boom, straight up. One market is signaling something. It's not great, but it's definitely to the downside. So we are range bound. We are heading lower, and I would just stay traded as such. So yeah, on the way down on the bonds. And right now we're in price discovery to the downside when it comes to the bond market. So I would trade it as such. From the short side, it is primarily range bound through the day session, so I'm not going to be super concerned about not stepping in front of it because they have a fair amount of opportunities there where the long side actually works a few times, but because it's not like it's just falling apart, but it is definitely driving lower. So yields are coming up, prices are coming down. But I would look to sell strength, and then 11, 20, 110, 20s, 110, 26s up to the 111s for rotations down. And looking to buy against the 110 10s and the 05 or 6s here with a bit of caution. Since we are in a move out of the middle, we'll always be a little bit more cautious about the long side and the support areas because we are moving lower, even if it feels like it's happening in slow motion. All right, so that's the bond market. On the crypto side of things, I rolled the oil. I let that one run into completion. And you can see how oil got super tight, super light and crazy yesterday. And then I just rolled it the way we normally roll oil on the crypto, so it's fine. I just had to figure out a better expiration date because right now they roll at the expiration date. So when it reads on the contract here, like right now in 19 June, then it's going to roll on 19 June. So that's what it does right now. Eventually, I may add a couple of days earlier on so you can roll the contracts before the volume rolls over. But right now, I'm just trying to get some more people on it. So we haven't done any trading in the last couple of days. It's been kind of sloppy. Neither silver gold has moved anything in any big way. Oil is the one I'm watching. They're up to 103 right now. That's kind of what they're trading. Bitcoin and Ethereum futures are just kind of slopping around, kind of following the market in a general sense, but yeah, they're trading pretty much the same as the ES and Nasdaq, kind of sloppy but not directional. So I would be more aggressive on the scalping side of things on the ES and Nasdaq if they wasn't crazy volatile. I mean the swings and the reactions are a little bit crazy. I mean you can see here on the ES these kind of bars looks big. Well, look at this last bar here. That's 92 to 85. So this is 7 points right there. This is 10 points. So these are big bars. They don't look, you get kind of fooled when you look at it because it doesn't look like much, but there's a lot of movements going on. And overall volume on the ES, let's see, what do we have for volume? That's not the one there. Look at this guy. So I have 200,000 on the ES right now. We have 300,000 on the micro ES. 600,000 in micro Nasdaq so far before they even open. So we got some volume going on right now. So more volatile than normal, but we'll handle it. So let's trade it with a bit of caution when it's volatile like this. You need better trade location or bigger stops or both, and just do the best you can. But trade location is the key. So that's about it. We'll wrap it there for now. So good trading, guys. I'll see you back at 11:30, and let's see what we get some news on that Iranian situation here throughout the day. Alrighty, guys. Later.